Kemi Badenoch walked into the Commons today to score some points on defence spending. She left having accidentally made the case for cutting your pension. So let me show you how that happened.
It speaks volumes that a junior minister has been sent to answer this question today. If the new Defence Secretary is too scared to face tough questions at the dispatch box, waiting for an easier statement later, then I don't have much confidence in him facing down the threat from Russia.
Right out the gate, the Defence Secretary is too scared to show up, she says. No confidence in him facing down Russia. That is a big swing.
Mr Speaker, let me be very clear. The Defence Secretary is currently with His Majesty the King and will be in the House this afternoon making a statement on the operations over the weekend.
And it's a big swing and a miss. He's with the King. That's it, the whole opening. Badenoch came in ready to fight and the Minister he just pointed at the calendar. The Defence Secretary will be along later. He's busy with the monarch. To her credit, she moved on quickly, and what she did next is actually the most interesting part of the whole discussion.
The answer is to cut the welfare budget, and I am willing to lend the government 116 votes to do just that, because I know they won't do it.
Okay, so the answer is to cut the welfare budget. Of course it is. It's never going to be a wealth tax or a land tax or anything, is it? I mean, she's so confident about this that she's offering Labour 116 Conservative votes to do it. And yet, here's the simple answer to this. And I don't know why anybody doesn't actually say it, because it's right there. It's such an easy retort. The state pension is the single largest line in the entire welfare budget. Not like a line item, the biggest one. Roughly 42% of all DWP spending goes on the state pension. It dwarfs everything else. And I know some people in the comments are going to say that the state pension isn't a benefit, but I'm afraid it is. It falls under the welfare budget. So when Badenoch says they'll cut welfare, there's only two possible readings. Either she means the pension, in which case good luck selling that one, or she's ruling it out, in which case that massive getting to 28 billion through welfare cuts gets dramatically harder, and she should probably explain how. I mean, she doesn't say. Nobody's actually asked her. The Minister didn't ask her. Labour's not asking her. The opportunity's just sat there on the floor of the Commons, and everyone's stepping over it. What I want to know, and what I think most people watching would want to know, is whether Kemi Badenoch, standing at the dispatch box, offering to hand over 116 votes to cut welfare, had looked at what welfare actually consists of before making that offer. Now, she wasn't the only one, by the way. Sir Edward Lee, the Father of the House, the longest serving MP in the Commons, got up and made essentially the same argument. Oh, and he also called the absent Defence Secretary cowardly and got immediately corrected by the Speaker.
Yeah. When the nation is at risk and the Leader of the Opposition asks a question, it's frankly cowardly for the Secretary of State not to turn up. His duty is to be here in our House of Commons.
Just say to the Father of the House, the King has summoned him, and he is with the King at the moment. And I think about the language used about being cowardly. I think it's not called for, and I expect better from the Father of the House.
I'm sure the King would have understood, but we'll leave it like that. Can I just ask the Secretary of State this? He constantly blames the previous Conservative government, but the fact is that times have changed. Let's look at history. When we were in the same situation in the 1930s, we were only spending 2.5% in 1935 on defence. And then we increased it to 9%. The whole nation came together. The Leader of the Opposition has given him a deal. We will combine with him to slash the totally huge welfare budget. We will help them meet what the previous Secretary of State wanted. Why did the previous Secretary of State resign?
Minister.
Well, first of all, can I be very clear with the right honourable gentleman, who I have a lot of time for, that the new Defence Secretary is someone who served our country in uniform, served in the parachute regiment, was awarded an MBE for his work in uniform, is someone who I am very proud to serve alongside, and is someone who I am working alongside now to ensure that we can deliver a defence investment plan with the funding that's required to renew our forces. He is right when he says times have changed. That's precisely why the defence investment plan capabilities that we're looking at looks at retiring old kit and bringing on investment in new kit, in particular drones, one-way effector, the hybrid navy and autonomy, something that we're learning the lessons from Ukraine on. Because we are there standing alongside our friends in Ukraine, we can see how Russia fights, we can see what works, and we're using that knowledge to not only support our friends in Ukraine, but bring that back for capabilities for the UK Armed Forces. And when the DIP is published shortly, he'll be able to see that.
That's been correct.
Meanwhile, Reform UK Limited's Sarah Poachin, who usually embarrasses herself every time she opens her mouth, in true Poachin style, managed to embarrass herself when she opened her mouth.
I have been told from a reliable source that our Prime Minister, in stark contrast to all other previous modern-day Prime Ministers, has never visited our Special Forces headquarters in Hereford. Is this a reflection of how low down his priorities list defence is?
That's a cool question.
I have to say that there's two things I would say to the honourable member. I know she's relatively new in this House, but the first thing I will say is we don't comment on Special Forces. It's a really important rule. We neither confirm nor deny activities nor visits to any Special Forces location. We do that deliberately because any question that helps define who is where, what they are doing, is a benefit to our adversaries. Now, I appreciate she's looking for a gotcha question with that, but let me take her back to the important things. We don't comment on Special Forces. What I have seen from our Prime Minister and the former Defence Secretary is them meeting the crews of our ballistic submarines when they return on zero day after many, many months under the sea. I've seen them support the brilliant service of armed forces personnel, but I'm afraid you will not get me nor any other government minister commenting on armed forces. I mean, I'll suggest to her that next time she thinks carefully about asking questions like that again.
Even though she got told off, the minister was, if anything, quite gentle about it. Special Forces Convention exists for a reason. You don't ask where they are, who's visited and what they're doing. It's not a gotcha question, it's a question that shouldn't be asked. And a year into the job, she probably should know that. Anyway, back to the main event, because what today actually showed us, stripped of all the theatre, is that the Conservative position on defence funding is cut welfare, yet don't specify which welfare. Wave vaguely at a budget and hope nobody does the maths. Badenoch knows that Labour won't take the votes, which is exactly why she offered them. She gets to look tough on defence, tough on welfare, without ever having to explain what part of welfare she means or how the numbers work. And without saying it on the floor of the House, Labour are missing an open goal with the pensions question.